Hey there, it's Dave, the founder and creator of the FlipperForce house flipping software platform. I'm here to walk you through all of the different tools and features that we have in our software platform here that you can use to analyze house flipping deals, estimate renovation costs, and manage your projects so that way you finish your projects on time and on budget and maximize your profitability on your house flips. So what you're looking at here is our projects dashboard. This is where you'll have a listing of all of your active projects. We don't have any active projects added yet, so the first thing we actually need to do is just add in a new project. So this house is called the Bat House because there were creepy bats hiding behind the shutters of this house. You can see it automatically starts pre-populating the address. If you select the address here, it'll fill that out for you using the Google Maps API. Once we have that address information added in, all of that information will automatically feed into the property details page, which has the square footage, the number of beds, numbers of baths, school information such as the school district, the high school, the elementary school. So that all feeds in from the Zillow Data API. Another thing you'll notice is that the sidebar populated with our tool set of tools that we can use to analyze a deal and manage our project. So the basic workflow of the app is that you'll use the deal analysis tools first to analyze the deal and then estimate the renovation costs. Once you do get a property under contract, you'll move down here to the project management tools and the accounting tools to create your project timelines, track your progress, track your expenses, stuff like that. So first we need to start on the Flip Analyzer tool. So the Flip Analyzer is basically the step-by-step house flipping calculator that you can use to analyze a deal and determine the maximum purchase price that you should offer for the property. So the first step of the Flip Analyzer is the after repair value. So this is how much you think you can resell the property for after you make repairs to the property. So I'm just going to plug in $130,000. This is a pretty affordable area here in Kansas City. So $130,000 purchase price. So what do you think you can buy it for? So I'm just going to plug in $50,000. So that could be the seller's asking price or what you think you can buy it for. Ultimately, the calculator is going to tell you the recommended maximum purchase price, so that value doesn't really matter, but it will tell you what the profit's going to be based upon that known purchase price. The third step is the repair cost. So how would you like to calculate your repairs? We've got three options for you. Lump sum, which would be a good one for just inputting, $50,000 there if you just want to plug in a quick budget. Dollar per square foot. So if you want to plug in $35 a square foot times 1,300 square feet is equal to a budget of $45,000. Or you can use a detailed option that'll pre-populate and pull in if we've done a detailed estimate using our repair estimator. So usually I'll just use one of these quick options up front when I'm first analyzing the deal. Once I think the numbers are going to pencil, then I will go back and do a detailed estimate using that repair estimator tool to actually put together a detailed scope of work and calculate a actual renovation budget. The next step is step 4, which is fixed costs. So this is your buying, holding, and selling costs. Again, you've got three options here for your buying costs: lump sum, percent of purchase, or detailed purchase. Generally for these, I will plug in about 1 to 3%. So let's plug in 2% here. So that's just another quick way of calculating your purchase costs. 2% times $50,000 purchase amount is equal to $1,000 in buying costs. Number of holding months. So this is going to be how long you think you're going to hold the property. Generally, it might take us about 2 months to rehab the property, put it back on the market, and resell it in another 2 months. So we're going to plug in 4 months. So 4 months times our monthly holding costs. So you can do a detailed holding cost amount going into all the property taxes, utilities, insurance, stuff like that. Or you can just plug in, $500 a month. 4 times 500 equals $2,000 total in holding costs. Same thing for selling costs, three options: lump sum, percent of resale, or detailed. Again, you can do a detailed breakdown here of the sales commissions and stuff like that, or you can just do a percent of resale if you're doing a quick calculation. So generally that's going to be somewhere between 7 to 9% of the resale value. 8% times $130,000 equals $10,400. Okay, so the next step is financing costs. So if you are going to be getting a hard money loan or a private money loan, you can plug those in. I'm just going to do an all cash deal on this. And then the final step is to input the desired profit that you want to make on the deal. So generally a house flipper might want to make about 10 to 15% of the ARV, but they also might have a minimum amount that they want to make. So let's plug in 15% to see that where that puts us. Puts us right around 19,000. You know, you could say, well, I want to make 25,000. Okay. So we're just going to plug in a lump sum number there. And now you're presented with the Flip Analyzer results page. So this is just showing you a breakdown of everything that you've inputted into a results page. So you can see at the top you've got some stats here. Your after repair value is $130,000. You can edit that if you want to quickly make some adjustments. Maybe you want to see how this affects your numbers if you increase that up to 135,000. So we're at an ARV of 135 now. We've got a purchase of 50. Our calculated profit based upon those values there is $26,000. So ARV of 135 minus our purchase minus our repairs minus our buying, holding, and selling costs is equal to a $26,000 profit. And if you scroll down to the bottom, this is where it recommends what you can offer for the property based upon how much profit you want to make. So again, we've got the same numbers here, the after repair value, we've got a repair cost, buying, holding, and selling costs. But the difference is we're subtracting out how much profit we want to make to calculate the recommended maximum purchase price. So basically what this is saying is if you want to make $25,000 on this deal, you could offer up to $51,000 on this deal. So if you remember, we were initially only at $50,000 for the purchase price. So we were going to make $26,000. Well, it's saying if you only want to make $25,000, you can offer up to $51,000. These other tabs, you know, you got a project cost breakdown. It's just showing you how much upfront project cost you're going to have and how much cash outlay you can expect to have on this project. So you can see we've got $98,000 in upfront project costs. We're not getting any financing, so basically we're going to have $98,000 out of pocket. So all of this data and information actually feeds over to an investment report. You'll notice we've got some different investment reports over here in the left-hand side. If you click on Deal Analysis Reports, so that's where you can find the investment packet builder where we currently are. So you can change this cover photo, you can change this description here. So you could say flipping amazing rehab opportunity. Okay. So maybe you're trying to promote this or market this to a hard money lender or a private money lender, and you're wanting to show them all of the financial results of the deal. You can create a nice investment packet to promote the financials of the deal to them, so that way you can raise money for your flips. So these are the different pages that you've got here. You've got a project financial overview, which basically just shows you all of the project costs, how you're financing the deal, what your returns are going to be. And then you've got a lender financial overview. This shows it from a lender's perspective, so it's really showing them what they can expect to achieve if they lended on the project. This is an all-cash deal, so that one doesn't really apply here. Estimate summary and detailed estimate. Let's go do a detailed estimate just to show you how that populates. You'll also see you've got a photos page here, but let's go do a detailed estimate. So let's say that we think that this deal could actually work, but we want to go do some more due diligence using the repair estimator and put together an actual scope of work for the property. So you'll notice when you go over here to the repair estimator, we've got some different templates for you. So some of these are custom templates that we've added in here just for this particular account, but you'll notice that you get 3 starter templates that come with your account. You get a new construction template. That's a template that you can use for new construction if you're building new homes or something like that. That comes with all those categories for new construction. Otherwise, we've got a rehab template that's rehab by category or rehab by room. So if you want to organize your categories by room, like bedrooms, bathrooms, kitchens, living rooms, stuff like that, you can organize your categories that way. I'm going to do just FlipperForce rehab. So that's just our main rehab template. So you'll notice once the estimate template loads into our repair estimator tool, you'll notice it's organized by exteriors, interiors, MEP, which is your mechanical, electrical, plumbing systems, other, which is just for general conditions like dumpsters and project management, stuff like that, building permits, and then adders, which is for a location adjustment, contingency, contractors overhead and profit, labor and material tax, stuff like that. So let's go through an estimate pretty quickly. I'm just going to show you some basic stuff here with the estimator. This is a pretty detailed tool, so it can be a little time consuming, but we've done a lot of the hard work for you by providing these databases for you. So basically what you can do is we've got these different categories in here that are pre-populated with common repair items and unit prices. So for example, on this bat house, we needed to replace the roof. We ended up using architectural roof shingles, and it was approximately 18 squares. 18 squares times our budget of about $300 a square is roughly a $5,400 budget for the asphalt roof shingles. So this is customizable here if you do want to change that to, $275 if you're a little bit cheaper than that, or $350. Whatever you need to do to adjust it to the local prices that you're getting in your local market, you can do that directly in that unit price column. So we've already got roofing plugged in there, siding didn't have any of that, masonry didn't have any of that. Now we did do some exterior painting. Generally you can just estimate the exterior painting by the property square footage. So this was 1,300 square feet times $1.50, so about $2,000 for the exterior painting on this property. Decks and porches, we completely re-decked the deck, so I do believe we have an option there, replace existing deck boards only. So it was probably about 100 square feet, 100 times 750, about $750 to redeck that thing. Exterior doors, you can go through and you can input the number of exterior doors. We had 2 steel entry doors, one at the front, one at the garage. Then we had a French patio door. Okay, and then exterior door hardware 3. So we've got 3 doors that need door hardware. So you can see how you can quickly put together some different budgets here for your property. Windows, so we've got a lump sum number in here for an average size window. We're not going to necessarily waste any time measuring the windows just yet. We're really just kind of trying to put a budget together. So 11 windows times $225 each is equal to a $2,400 budget. So you can quickly just go through, plug in some values here, and create an overall estimate for your project. I'm just going to do that real quick, and quite frankly I'll probably fast forward through this, but this will hopefully provide you with a good idea of what it takes to put together an estimate. Okay, so I went through and did an estimate there. I had to fast forward a little bit just to save some time, but you'll notice we also have this adders area where you can add in contingency. So this is to cover any kind of unforeseen issues, maybe 10 to 15 to 25% really, depending on what the risks are on the project. So I'm going to plug in 10%. Contractors overhead and profit, that's really for if you're going to be subbing out or hiring a general contractor to manage the project. If you're hiring a GC, they're going to want to get paid for their management time, so that might be 10 to 15%. This one I self-managed it, and hired the subcontractors myself. So you can see we've got a budget here of now $35,700. If we go back to the Flip Analyzer, we can edit our results real quick just to make sure that that repair cost is feeding that in. So initially we budgeted 45, just using that dollar per square foot amount. Now we're going to go back, click next. We're going to use that $35,000 number that came from our repair estimator. So now you can see that's feeding in here. So we've got 135,000 minus 50 minus our repair costs of 35 minus our buying, holding, and selling costs. So now our profitability, after we went back and reevaluated everything, we're actually going to be making $35,900. So this is actually a lot better deal than we initially anticipated when we were doing that dollar per square foot amount. So let's go back to that investment report. I just want to show you that estimate section that we had on the report, which really presents a nice detailed estimate for you. So you can see we've got an estimate summary. This page just shows a summary of all of your costs broken down by category. So you can see those summary totals, but then if you want to see your detailed estimate, you can see all of your line items in your estimate. So you can see, for example, exterior doors. We've got 3 line items in here, and it shows you your totals and your breakdown for that category. So this is another valuable report if you got a business partner or a lender that wants to see the detailed information and due diligence that you put into the deal. This estimate report can really help you show that to your lenders to let them know what what they're dealing with on this type of project. Then you can upload photos. This is a street view that automatically fed in from our Google Maps API, but you can upload up to 12 photos here of the existing property condition to really give your lender a good idea, or business partner a good idea, of what the existing property condition looks like. So then you can print that to a PDF. You can use a share link if you just want to share a digital web page that you want to send to somebody, but then you can print this off, give this to your business partner or lender, and it'll show them all the financials in the deal. We also got some other reports in here. Estimate report. So again, that's going to be similar to our estimate report that you saw in that investment report, but for whatever reason, if you want to just share the detailed estimate data, you can do that in this report here. And then we've also got a scope of work report. So one of the things I didn't show you on the repair estimator tool is that we've got a scope of work notes area. So you can see we have all of these scope of work notes pre-populated. So if we go back to the estimator here real quick, you'll notice there's this little notes icon next to it. So this is where you can input your scope of work notes that will feed over to your scope of work document. So these are scope of work notes that you give to your roofing contractor or your plumbing contractor to tell them exactly what they need to include in their bid. So you can see this is saying furnish and install new architectural roof shingles, roof vents, flashings, and components as required by local building codes. Here's the roofing product that we want you to install. Please remove all the existing asphalt shingles as necessary to install the new roof shingles. So in other words, don't just put new shingles over the existing shingles. Replace and damaged any plywood sheathing. So that's another common issue that you might run into if you're re-roofing a house and it says, hey, give us what your dollar per sheet is going to be, so that way we have that price up front if we run into that issue of needing to replace the plywood sheathing, repair or replace any gutters, and then haul off all the debris, roofing materials and debris, and then make sure you clean up the scrap roofing debris from the site. So that's a pretty detailed scope of work that you're giving to your contractor, and all of these notes come pre-built directly into our estimator that are included in our estimator database. So that information feeds over to your scope of work builder. So that scope of work builder is the tool that you can use to generate a scope of work that you can give to a general contractor. So you can quickly just give them this information. It automatically pulls over your quantities from the repair estimator and then those scope of work notes. So you can edit those over here. Those scope of work notes will talk back and feed back to the estimator, and so forth and vice versa. Those notes that you edit over there on the repair estimator will feed over here. So this is really a live document that you can use to quickly build out a scope of work. All of these categories, you can turn these off and it'll automatically turn them off, so you can really kind of customize what you want to include in your scope of work. And then you can print this to a PDF. So we'll show you what that generates, or you can save it as a Word document. So that's actually pretty powerful because you can get it into Word, and then you can do additional editing and stuff that you might not be able to do in our software. So here's a scope of work report. So you can see it's got the cabinetry in here. It's telling them what they need to include in their bid and proposal for these different categories. So that's what you can do there, or if you wanted to save it as a Word document, you could open it up in Word and you could edit the formatting, you could change the font style, whatever you want to do, delete stuff. So that's how you can use that scope of work builder. And then really the next step is you'll get the property under contract. So let's say that you go out, you make an offer on this deal. It was recommending that we make an offer of $60,000 if we only want to make 25. Otherwise, if we buy it for 50, we should be able to make about 35,000 on the deal. So let's say we made an offer at $55,000. So basically we'll go back and we'll start doing the project management stuff. So we got it under contract. Now we're going to move on to the project manager side of the software. So this is the project scheduler. This is one of the project management tools. This is where you can create a Gantt schedule and timeline. So we've got some different templates in here that you can use to quickly load these into your schedule. So instead of you wasting 30 minutes to an hour building your own schedule, you can load in a cosmetic rehab schedule that we've already pre-populated for you. So you can see how it's pre-populated with exterior painting, site cleanup, landscaping, interior work, demolition, drywall patching, cabinetry measurement, bathroom rough-in, interior painting. So everything is already pre-populated for you with durations and dependencies. So you can see how, site cleanup won't start until after exterior painting, and landscaping won't start until after site cleanup. The dumpster needs to be delivered, then we'll start demolition. That's going to take 2 days, and we've got some just miscellaneous drywall patching that's going to take a day. And then after that, we're going to start doing cabinetry measurement. That's going to take, probably 1 day, but it's going to take 10 days for the cabinets to get measured and fabricated, I think is what that probably says. Yep. And then you got a bathroom rough-in, bathroom tile. So this is a way for you to plan out your overall schedules. We've got critical path in here, so you can identify what the critical items are that are going to affect the final completion date. So I guess, for example, if countertops took longer than anticipated, it's going to automatically shift the completion date back because it's on the critical path. So that's why that's an important tool to identify that kind of stuff. We've also got auto scheduling. So I guess, for example, if exterior painting took a little bit longer, it's going to automatically shift that other stuff down the line for you. So that's another powerful tool that you can use to quickly make changes to your schedule, because things are going to inevitably be different than what you initially planned. And when that happens, you can use auto scheduling to automatically shift things down line. So that's a quick overview there. Hopefully you can see some value there, especially with our templating. Another thing that you can do is you can save it as a template. So if you've got an order of operations that you always use for your rehab projects, you can save that as a template, and then you can load that in for each new project that you've got. Now, one of the things you'll notice is this data and information feeds to the project calendar. So if we go back here, I think I loaded that way back in 2019, but you can see that we've got all of this work loaded into our calendar. So this is a calendar view that's showing you everything that's happening on the project. So you can see on June 17th, we've got demolition starting. That's going to happen on 17th, and it's going to stretch to Tuesday. The next day we've got drywall patching, then we're going to do cabinetry measurement and fabrication. Bathroom rough-in is going to start. So you can see how this would be helpful if you are managing multiple projects. So if you had multiple projects going on, it would be showing you all of the different tasks, schedule items that you've got going on, and putting it in a calendar view, so that way you can see what's going on each project. And then let's move down to accounting. So this is where you can manage your project budgets and track your actual project expenses. So you'll notice that we've got multiple columns here. The analysis column, that's going to show you your initial analysis from the Flip Analyzer. The budgeted column, that's going to have the same values from the analysis, but these cells are editable, so that gives you the opportunity to adjust some of these. So I guess, for example, you can have something that you want to establish a budget that's maybe less than what you initially analyzed, I guess, for example. So maybe you want to say, well, I initially budgeted $6,000 or $7,000, but let's plug in $6,000 here for our budget, just to see if we can save some costs. So you can go through and you can adjust these that way. And that way you still have a placeholder showing you what you initially analyzed, and you've got a budget. And then the next column is to date. So to date feeds from your expense tracker. So the expense tracker tool is the tool that you can use to track your actual project expenses. So let's say, for example, we bought the property, and we bought it for, I think I said, let's buy it for $55,000. Let's input a description, purchase amount. You can track by account, so if you set up a checking account, bank account, credit card account. So I guess we can do that real quick. Okay, checking account, so now we're tracking it by that checking account. We're going to select a vendor, so you can see we've got different vendors loaded in here. Let's say we bought it from Bank of America, but you can also track by your different contractors. And then we're going to select a category, so we're going to select it to the purchase price, and now we're going to say save. So now we've added in here, we've got $55,000 spent to date. If we go back over here, you can see our initial analysis was $50,000, our initial budget was $50,000. We've spent $55,000 to date, and we don't expect any more expenses in this category, so we need to plug in 100%. So percent complete is a value that you input to tell the calculator how much is left in that category. Since we're 100% complete with the purchase expenses, we're going to plug in 100%. And now you can see we're over budget by $5,000. So we initially budgeted $5,000, we ended up spending $50,000, and we ended up spending $55,000. So now we're $5,000 over budget. Let's go add in a few more items here just to show you some more examples. I'll probably end up fast forwarding through this just so it doesn't take too much time, but let's just do this real quick. Okay, so we've added in a few expenses in here, not too many, but hopefully this will provide just a basic example of how this can be used. So we've got $62,000 in expenses so far tracked in here, and we're going to go back over to the project budgeter and see where these track to. So let's refresh the page here. So you can see we've got purchase price of $55,000, we've got buying costs of $1,500, so we're 100% paid on buying costs. So unfortunately we are $501 over budget there. We've spent only $100 on demolition, so I don't know if I mistyped that, but okay, looks like I did. It's supposed to be 1,000. Okay, let's go back. Okay, 1,000, we're 100% there. Okay, so now we're $600 under budget there. So now you can kind of start to see how this stuff shakes out. Our initial budget was $4,950 for roofing. $5,600 is what we've spent to date. We're 100% done with the roofing, so we're going to plug in 100%. So we're $650 over budget there. So you can see overall we are $5,000 over budget on our purchase. We're $501 over budget on our fixed costs. We are actually $50 over budget on repairs, so we're $650 over on the roofing, but we're minus $600 on demolition. So overall, our project costs are about $5,500 more than anticipated. So you can see that's eating into our profit. Our initial analysis, we were thinking we're going to make around $36,000 on this deal, and now since we are, over budget on project costs by $5,000, we're currently tracking at only $31,000 in profit. So hopefully this can really be used to track your accountability and track your progress on your expenses and compare that to your budget to see how your actuals compare to your budget, so that way you can see how what you've spent to date is affecting your profitability on your project. So the powerful thing about that is, in all this categorization, is it actually feeds over to different reports. You've got a project budget report that's going to basically show you everything that you've seen there on the project budgeter in a printer friendly format. So it just puts it into a report format for you, so it shows you your budget, your spent to date, your projected, and in variances. So that can be another good report that you can send to your business partners or your lenders to show how you're tracking against your actual budget. We've got an expense summary. This is just going to show you all of your expenses categorized by your different major categories that you have on the property. Then you've got your detailed expense category, so that's going to show you a detailed breakdown of all of your expenses for each category. So for example, you can see roofing, we've got a 50% down payment, and then we've got a final payment for a total of $5,600. So you can see all of your detailed expenses for each category. We've got a vendor expense report, which is going to show you how much you've paid to each individual vendor on your project. So you can see we've paid Bank of America $56,000, and then we've paid ABC Rehab $6,600. And then finally, we've got a final profit report. So that's probably going to be another good report that you can use to show the final profit that you have in a deal. So income, we don't have any income on this deal because we haven't recorded that yet. Maybe I should go back and do that, but it's going to show you all of your expenses to calculate your profit. So I guess, for example, if we were completely done with this deal and we got to input some income here for the property, so really on a flip, there's only going to be resale income. Now if you held it for as a buy and hold, you could input your rental income here, but let's say we sell it for 132,500. Okay, so total income 132,500. Go back over here to the project budgeter. As you can see, we've got to date 132,500. Our budget was 135 for reselling the property, so we're unfortunately going to sell it for $2,000 less than we thought. And again, that's going to cut into your profitability on the deal. So again, we've dropped down to 28,000 instead of 26 or 36,000 there. So, and if we go over here to the final profit statement, now that we've recorded that income in the income tracker, we've got $132,000 there for the income. 132,000 minus 63,000 is equal to a $69,000 profit. Now, again, we don't have a lot of the expenses populated into our expense tracker, but once we are 100% complete populating those expenses into the expense tracker, that $69,000 is going to obviously drop closer to where we were at for our projected profit on this deal. So that's a quick overview of everything in the FlipperForce house flipping software. Hopefully you can see how the tool can really help you up front when you're initially analyzing a deal. It can help you analyze the maximum purchase price you should offer for a property, so that way you don't overpay. Our repair estimator, you can use that to create a detailed estimate of the renovation costs, so that way you can establish an accurate budget up front. And then the project management and accounting tools, you can use those to track your progress, create project timelines, to keep your projects on time. But then we've got accounting tools and budgeting tools that you can use to track your actual project expenses, compare those to your budget, and then forecast your profitability, so that way you know whether you're going to be over budget or under budget on your projects way before you see those, do those final expenses and send that information to your accountant. So again, that's a quick overview. Thanks for tuning in, and if you have any questions, let me know.